Hello, and welcome to another edition of the SilverFox. We have a extra special video today. It's a brand new map, Fracture LE. I am playing with the blue Terran pieces up in the top left, and apparently my opponent, Panda, just types G for good. I'm very excited for a new map. This is very cool to be trying these new ones. This looks like another very heavily tiered map with lots of ramps, similar to the Cerulean Fall. I don't end up winning this one, so sorry, spoiler alert, but I still had fun, and I figured I would cast this game anyway, show my mistakes, and then also try to learn what my opponent did. I'm not sure if he's played this or not. He wasn't very talkative, so I expressed enthusiasm, but I didn't really get in return. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit through the very beginning. So I'm just walling off. After I've kind of like played this map now once, I realized that this is probably a better place to wall off. The choke's not very big. You could probably wall off with a couple of supply depots and a bunker. So I go and check my opponent out with my Reaper. He's scanning, or he's scouting with Overlords. He's already got a queen here for defending, so I know that he's at least skilled enough to make a queen in the beginning. Sometimes in Silver League you don't see any kind of defense at all. He's also got cool skins on his drones. I like those. I see that he's made a second hatchery. So he has a pool and a second hatchery up already. So I know that he's going to be rather aggressive. I've noticed that Blizzard in these new maps so far have put barriers in such that you're forced to walk certain ways, which I think is cool. If you notice my path here to my opponent's base by clicking here, I was taking one path, and then when I came back I was forced around this ice barrier, which I think is pretty cool. I think that means that you're going to run into your opponents less, at least the paths that they're taking, depending on where they start. As if they were to come down, like, for say this, let's say this way, and then move to my base, they probably would have followed this path. But if they would have started from up top, they would have probably gone a different way, which I think is kind of cool. So I got my second CC up, making some Marines, got a Widow Mine out for some defense. I'm not really sure what's coming my way. I'm not really even sure what to expect on this map at this point. Let's just speed it up here a little bit more, because it's not very interesting right now. My opponent is definitely gearing up for a massive push. He begins to expand quite rapidly, pretty quickly here. High ground siege tanks, pretty cool. Pretty hard to hit unless you bring Overlords with you. He knew that, so I'm assuming he's played this map before. So he brought Overlords with him. It's my first drop, just kind of poking his base to see what he has. In the meantime, I'm just building up some barracks and getting some upgrades on my guys. In hindsight, I probably should have made more factories. I do have a Liberator out. I assume that this is going to be the choke point. Okay, here comes the first. I'll slow it down here. First ball that he has. So he's definitely. Sorry, I kind of missed the drop I did, but that's where I kind of see what he has. So let's go speed it up. Sorry about that. Here comes my drop. This is on 2x faster. I don't know what took me so long. I should have done this much quicker. A lot of flight path room where creep can't see, though. It's nice. So I don't think he had any idea that this was coming in. Seems like if you traverse this top right path, he's not going to be able to tell what's going on. Or at least what's on the horizon. This was the first game that I used the all SCV idle hotkey to get all my idle workers back to work. That's nice. I've been meaning to practice using that, and today was the day. So that was good. Not really sure why my drop is sitting over here. Anyway, you can see he's got infestors, a bunch of banelings, and roaches. It's the first time I've seen infestors used in a long time. He does quite well with them, I think. But it was kind of an interesting choice. As for a long time, I haven't really seen those in use. I think a while ago, Blizzard nerfed the infestor and made it harder for it to cast because you had to unburrow in order to cast. But now it was more. Obviously, if you have to unburrow, that's 2 actions as opposed to 1. So the less skilled you are, the harder that attack will be. So anyway, I'm just kind of massing, building off of one factory. I am mostly going for Marines and Medifacts, and having the reactor on the starport, I don't really need it. So anyway, I'm just massing more barracks. I probably should have a few more barracks. I make a few more command centers because I'm going to need to expand in the future. It also helps with supply to make command centers. So if you have the extra cash, just go ahead and build them. Because you're going to end up using them at some point. You could always float your existing ones if you run out of minerals, but then you don't get the supply advantage or the mule advantage. So having more, if you have the bank to do it, just make them, because then you can drop more mules and you can this looks extra slow. I'm gonna speed it up like faster. So you can see, he can see in my base. At this point, I'm worried about Nidus worms. I saw this Overlord earlier, so I know that it's around here. His army still isn't that impressive. He's got a lot of Banes, but you know, once they bust, they're kind of, that's it. So this is the natural, or third expansion area. So I figure let's move my tanks up into a good position. I should have probably taken this a little sooner, before 10 minutes. But that's okay. I got 2 orbitals now, so I should be able to crank the minerals pretty quickly here. These scouts, kind of lose him in the pack, but I can see him. And I got a couple Vikings here. So I should grab those and, yeah, go hunt that Overlord. Now it's time to drop the banks from space. Heals are so great. I just love them. Love them so much. But he's running pretty good now. But he's doing a good job spreading his creep. Because once that goes into my base, he basically has vision of whatever I'm doing. Oh, sneaky bastard. I didn't notice he did that. Pretty good. So he finally did sneak one in. So he's got mutas now. I guess I never dropped, or I did it at a much later time. I must have just forgot. Oh, there it comes. Speak of the devil. So probably should have done this about 5 minutes ago. But he pulls his drones, so pretty good reaction time. Oh, I didn't drop. I just lost that. Full medevac. Wow, it's pretty bad. At this point, I'm deciding to move out, but it seems to be like it's a bad choice. The Baneling balls just come in and just wreck. And this is where the Infestors, I was quite impressed with them. These Infested Terrans, they did a good job taking my tanks out. I had quite a few tanks. I lost that CC. So now it's up to my tanks on the high ground over here. Reposition my Liberator, and at this point I'm in trouble. I have a lot of bank though. I'm not spending my minerals very well. But throwing these up on top, that was genius. Genius until they get blown to Kingdom Come, but it still is, it's not a bad move. He just had a lot of stuff here. Good upgrades. He just played it really well. He didn't flinch at my tanks. At this point, I'm forced to close up my top and, you know, try to defend as much as I can. Luckily, I have a large bank, so I can kind of hold out for a little while, but there's not much I can do against this. I think I did take out all his overlords, so he doesn't have any vision up here, so I can just kind of rain shells down on him right now. And I have enough Marines to discourage an overlord from coming over here. But boy, that hurt big time. Now I don't have another CC. I probably should have dropped it a lot earlier. Built up a wall here. There's enough minerals over here to justify that. And then began rebuilding. Because what he didn't do was rebuild his forces while he was fighting. So he, I probably would have had a pretty good ability to come back from this. I didn't do a very good job. I ended up losing this match. But this is not where I should have landed this. I should have pushed back over to my natural. It's easier to defend, and that was just a bad call. So at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I got a bunch of tanks and Marines. Let's just go over and see what we can do. But he's got incoming. It looks like he Nidus Worms him. Interesting. He can definitely see this drop coming in. So I think at this point he's going to pull back pretty quickly here. I get the hatchery? I don't think I'd even get the hatchery. Take out some of his Mutalists. But those Banes, they just come in and clean me up. They're so good. I needed to have 5 more tanks with that drop, and then it would have probably pretty decent engagement. But that's okay. Live and learn. So, you can see this is almost completely undefended. It's pretty dumb. If I would have gone over here, I would have at least had these tanks on the high ground to protect it. I realized this kind of too late, so I decided to drop my Marines over here to provide some defense, because I know the mutas are incoming. I'm also doing a bad job of spending my minerals when this is going on. Baneling balls, just very difficult to... I don't even have +1 attack on my Vikings. And in the last ditch effort, I kind of just sent my Vikings over there to try to do some damage, but it's, at this point I'm just totally dead. I have enough to make another CC, and I could have landed it here, but I should have done that in that before that last engagement. So he's spreading creep here. He's got his, well, I should have. No, I guess you don't need a queen to spread it. You just click on the tumors. I never played Zerg, I don't really know. So I dropped these Vikings in here in a futile attempt to kind of try to do some damage, but it's kind of dumb. Doesn't really work as expected. Got one siege tank up here. And at this point, I kind of know I'm just dead, so I give up. Anyway, I just wanted to show you the new map. I thought it was pretty cool. I did lose the game, but that's okay. There's always next time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you in the next one.